It's so nice to see you all here. Thank you so much for coming out to support the students. Welcome to Stage Right Story 2017-18. Woo! My name is Lane Satterfield. I'm the Director of Education for Cadence Theater Company, and it is my great pleasure to introduce our teaching artist team.
Hello, I'm Heather Falks.
Hi, I'm Matt Block.
Hi, I'm Morgan Howard.
And I'm Denai Carter.
And we also, yes, wait, because we also have Katrina Carroll Lewis as one of our teaching artists, and Matt Polson, who's also our videographer, but they're at Virginia Rep downtown doing a show right now. So, yeah, what can you do? It's really good. It's called River Ditty if you want to see it. 5 more performances. Anyway. All right, so we have been working from October to today on writing and workforce readiness, doing interviews with Capital One employees, writing resumes, mock interview skills, college essay writing, and we've also been working on theater performance skills. So what you'll see tonight is completely student written. And before we show it to you, we would like to thank our sponsors, without which we could not do this program and bring it to our students. So thank you to the E. Rhodes and Leona B. Carpenter Foundation,
Capital One,
Virginia Repertory Theater.
Richmond Public Schools.
Rick and Rona Ehrenstein, Lynn and Jay Schwartz, and an anonymous donor.
and yes, speaking of donors, Matt Block.
Yes, if you guys would be so generous, we have envelopes located on the outside of each one of these volumes if you all would want to donate and support Stage Right and Cadence Theater.
Cool. Students, are you ready? Yeah. All right, open, take your places.
Yesterday is gone, its tale told. Today, new seeds are growing.
Storytelling is what connects us to our humanity. It is what links us to our past and provides a glimpse into our future. Since humans first walked the earth, they have told stories, before even the written word of the oral language. Through cave drawings and over fires, humans have told stories as a way to shape our existence.
To me, storytelling is an escape. It's a way to relieve the pain, any emotions you just couldn't say. Storytelling is a way to share. It's a way of expression. It allows for variation, diversity, creativity. Storytelling is about teaching.
Storytelling is important because it feels good to get your word out. Most people think they're the only one thinking something, but it's like once you share it, you find common ground with other people.
Because when people tell their story, you get to see different perspectives of it and why they are the way they are.
Storytelling to me is another form of escapism. It's a way to do things that you would have only ever dreamed of, whether it's flying through space or battling dragons.
Storytelling is a fun way to spend your time. I enjoy storytelling when meeting new people. Oh, by the way, I got eaten by a bear. Bye!
Storytelling means to go back in your mind to make up something, or just go back and think of a real memory, so you can share with others. It can be to scare someone, to make someone feel good, to make someone laugh, sleep, or anything. Storytelling comes from the brain more than the heart.
The importance of storytelling is to create dreams that may actually come true, to escape the reality of the world we live in. Without a dream, it's like being without a soul, wandering the earth, hoping and wishing that it may come true someday. To feel exquisite in your skin, to feel alive again. Now wandering the galaxies, soul searching for me, or actually you.
Storytelling is when you hear something and your imagination takes you there and you see it and feel the emotion.
Storytelling is a very important part of history. It's a part of history where you can change it and flip it and make it your own, and it helps your imagination grow.
Storytelling is what you make of it. It's what others grow on. It's what others live by. But it's how you live your life that tells a story. It is not good to make yourself unknown. Humans do not like what they don't understand. A sad truth there is. But tell me, what is your story? I'd like to listen.
My descendants are people from here. I'm branded with a hand tattoo. I'm 5 feet 10 inches of sheer sports knowledge. I have the mind of an owl, body of a flamingo, and the heart of a lion. I am the rose staple from concrete. I am truly a once-in-a-lifetime specimen.
Individuality can only span so many years. Eventually, all the good ideas are going to run out. Storytelling allows us to take the ideas and concepts of other people, flip them on our head, and inspire other people to create new stories.
Storytelling is the basis for and medium through which humans convey our most basic, defining characteristic, wonder.
Storytelling is a way of putting your thoughts and words into different forms of media, but storytelling is so much more than that. Storytelling is a way of bringing people together, because everybody has a story, and it can change the way people view the world. Storytelling is a flow of energy from one person to the next. Storytelling is a reflection of you.
The story of my birth.
Guess what?
What?
It's story time. Today, I'm gonna tell you about the story of how my mama went through a very difficult pregnancy with a big old baby who grew up to be me. Okay, so I'm the oldest, and I was a fat baby, so I like to move and kick a lot, and I ain't want to come out for real. So around comes September 30th, 2000, the day I'm supposed to be born, and I wouldn't come out. So mama did everything she could to get me out there. Boom, I was born.
I will be reading the writing of my classmate Andre. I was born on a hot summer day, July 14th, 2001, 10 days after Independence Day. I don't know if my dad was there too. Mom said I turned a lot and went from a regular birth into an emergency C-section.
I know that nearly 16 years ago, I was born on an extraordinary planet with weird creatures known as humans. I was born with magical powers that I don't know of yet, but will soon find out.
I was born in the Bronx, New York, 2 months before 9/11 to a woman who couldn't care for me, who gave me to a family that could.
I was born October 30th, 1999, a day before my favorite holiday. It's called Halloween. It's weird. You go around door to door to strangers' doors, and they actually open it up for you, and they give you candy. So when I trick or treat, I say it's my birthday so I can get extra candy.
I was born in Orangeburg, South Carolina on October 10th, 2001. One night, 9 months earlier, my mom was singing to my dad. Then bam, I was born. My name is Valasia, and it is made up so no one in the world has it.
My mom had me when she was 14. My biological dad was 18, which means he was a magician. When she told him I was coming, he was so excited that his magic overloaded and he disappeared forever. Anyway, my mom was really smart and was on the verge of graduating 2 years early. I made it a little difficult, but nothing she couldn't overcome.
I was born on a crisp morning in May in some hospital in Richmond. It gets kind of funny from here, as my parents had thought about and almost named me Christopher, which would have been crazy because my mom's name is Krista, my dad's name is Christian, and his mom's name is Christine. That would have been wild. They named me Roman instead.
In the Big Apple, New York City, 5:25 p.m., middle of spring. My mother has just gone to her mother's house, where her best friend, who is now my godmother, was waiting for her. My grandmother had cooked a big meal. Macaroni dominated my mother's plate. After consuming her food, she lay down. About an hour later, she found herself complaining about her stomach. My godmother suggested it was the food. It wasn't. It was me.
Way back in pre-terrorist September 2001, my mother was in severe discomfort due to having 2 humans in her stomach. So, she and my father set out to do what any sensible person with 2 humans in their stomach would do: get those miniature humans out. They arrived at the hospital to excrete my sister and I. I must have been very reluctant to leave my old pad, however, because I had managed to grow such a gargantuan head that I couldn't fit through the door.
I was the first child, and my parents had been married almost 6 years. On the way to the hospital is when my mom wrote her email letting her coworkers know that she was going on maternity leave.
December 1st, 2001, Richmond, Virginia. My parents stand in Best Buy looking for a camcorder. My mom's phone rings. It's her sister in Louisiana. She has a very important message. I'm being born. 10 hours later, my parents stand in Baton Rouge. My dad holds me for the first time, and my mom held the camera.
I was born in May, a healthy, heavy baby. My name was a last-minute decision, one made by my father, one that holds more worth than it seems in the moment.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Sage. She lived in isolation in a dark forest because the language had disappeared.
The world that she had once known had been displaced by a world where people had lost the ability to speak and the will to communicate.
One day, she met a crow who told her that people had stopped communicating because technology had taken over engagement and left them all in the shadows.
The crow posed a riddle, which went like this. Once you're in the dark, you will never know how the world around you became a show.
She decided to figure out how to solve it and set off on the long road on the edge of the forest.
Where I'm from.
I am from Basketball, Pencil, and Spalding. I am from a warm home, the lotus flower and the rose. I am from Thanksgiving, tall, from Jimbo, Billy Ray, and Billy Buck. I am from a funny, goofy, tall, and skinny. I am from my mom's water breaking at her baby shower and my cousin rushing her to Chippenham Hospital where the goat was born. I am from deep Germany. I am 84 inches of pure strength. I am the color of fiery red. I'm the billy goat from the Himalayas and the tree that stands tall and keeps everyone moving. I walk like I run the streets. My name's Eric, means ever and eternal ruler.
I am the great-granddaughter of a Cherokee Indian. I am 64 inches of steel. I am caramel mocha with chocolate fudge. I am a big elephant stomping through. I am the stars leading others and leaving people curious. I walk with my head held high, a twist in my hips, and meaning in my feet. I am from Pom Poms, Forever 21, and Nike. I am from Loud, the Daisy, and the Concrete. I am from Christmas Ham and Short, from Sakeem, Christie, and Drummer. I am from Goofy, Strict, from Fight for Your Respect. And I brought you into this world, now I take you out. I am from Church on Easter Sunday, from Hot Dogs and Beans. I am from my grandma marching with MLK, from my father being sentenced to 14 years, and every older sibling dropping out. My name comes from my father's name, Sakeem. I'm guessing she named me after him to always have him with her in some way. My name, Sakaya, means emotionally independent.
I am 60 inches of Bajan princess from Barbados, but I walk like I'm 60 feet. I am mocha brown like coffee. I am playing for music while we clean. I am from Terrence and Ayanna Brooks, from talking too much and eating in our rooms. I am from macaroni and fried chicken, from Harlem and the Bronx. I am from being told that Santa is not real and that the Tooth Fairy is fake. I am the stars that brighten up people's days.
I am from hoops and lip gloss and baby lotion. I am from the north, the white rose, and the wind. I am from Thanksgiving and thickness, from Kia, Sharon, and Natasha. I am from funny and friendly, from God, RVA, collard greens, and chicken. I am a caramel drop queen from Africa. I'm taller than a broomstick and light as sand. I'm as sneaky as a cat and as free as a leaf. I walk with ambition. My name, Anaya, means ship.
I am from Dove and Bath and Body Works. I am from the hood, the rose, and the sunflower. I am from LaShawn Forehand and Floyd, Washington. I am from loud, funny, smart, kind, so say, Christian, chicken, and ribs. I am 63 inches of African. open like a cloudless sky. I'm a leader like a lion, walk like a queen. My name is Shania, which means I'm on my way.
I am from Lotion and Soap, from the sun and the cloud. I am from Eastern Black, from LaWanda, Laura, and Cheryl. I am from Arguing Loud, from Don't Make Me Come In There, and Get Out That Kitchen. I am from New York, Chicken and Waffles, and Grandma's House. I am from the story of Judy picking corn in the field and tales of Bigfoot stealing pies. I am as tall as a skyscraper. I am a river because I go with the flow.
I am from the Big Apple, from crowded streets and food stands. I am from the 7th floor of apartment E, 554 East 26th Street. I am from being told the tooth fairy is real and hearing my brothers argue over who took my money from You'll Understand When You're Older. I am from the church Kingdom Hall, where a lady gave out candy, from pizza and pasta. I am from the little brother who plays video games and my aunt who makes out these shakes. No, really, they're good.
I got my name from my father, so I'm a junior. He got his name from my grandma's best friend's kid, Andrea. My grandma liked the name and named my dad Andrea, but the A is silent. He changed his name from Andrea to Andre when he was around 18. I am from video games, from Xboxes and PlayStations. I am from the brick house, warm, old, and visually blending. I am from Christmas parties and bushy eyebrows, from the Jacksons and the Roans. I am from Christianity, MCV, chicken and watermelon, from Santa is real, and the tooth fairy gives money. I am from my grandma telling me that my grandpa is 50 Cent. I am from my great uncle's top secret government job and my cross-dressing uncle. I am from Croatian repping my hood, G.
Jasmine is a flower, a princess, and a fragrance. My middle name is Noel. My mom and I were both born on December 20th, so I'm guessing that's why my name is Noel, being so close to Christmas. And it's also my dad's name, Leon, spelt backwards.
My name is Nalaja. My mom chose that name because it was unique. I am from water and lots of vegetables. I am from the commands of my mother, from the roses in the bushes and the weeds pulled from the dead areas of the ground. I am from loving superheroes and curly hair, from Saida and Bernard, the Halls, and the Christians. I am from partying late and arguing for no reason, from wanting to be short and white girl this, mixed girl that, when in reality, I'm just black. I'm from stay in school, don't do drugs, and follow all directions. I am from not wanting to, but going to church anyway. I am from the success in education, the worry of my family, and the sharing of the best ideas that are never shared. I am from one of many tapes stored away in a dust-filled box on a shelf, waiting to be released upon another being's eyes. I am from 3 journals that only my eyes have seen, and hours of reading and writing my own stories. I am from my life being in hundreds of pictures to being lost, waiting to fill my camera with new memories. I am from not wanting to believe and not wanting to try, but now I am learning to ignore and love myself. I am from the support of those who love me, from wanting to change the world, from once wanting to be legendary to being a legend. I am from following to leading.
My name is Polite, and I was named that to embody everything my dad wasn't at the time. Coming from the slums of Asbury Park, New Jersey, my father was not the best of men, but he was honest. When my sister and I were born, he thought to himself, I won't let them live the way that I lived. Thenceforth, I was named Polite. I am from the trees that grow on this earth, and the 4-leaf clover who blesses anyone who picks it up with luck. I am from the tasting of new foods with family and jokes around the room. I am from change everlasting, never flowing. I am from the history we were told in class, the stories of God and Jesus as a young man. I am from the love of my family when I struggled to get to elementary, middle school, and now even high school. I am from the acronym FLIT, which stands for fail, learn, improve, retest, and enter. Ooh, my bad. We enter and test. Yeah. Even when we are apart, we are together.
I am from the cocoa bean, from shea butter and milk chocolate. I am from the big greenhouse on the corner, from the smooth and beautiful rose. I am from Chili Dog Tuesdays, Pretty Brown Eyes, from Carissa and Kenny. I am from TLC and Tough Love. I am from pain is beauty and beauty is pain, and sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I am from my grandma's house on the wall with the beautiful picture frames and designs.
I am from Oreos, cocoa butter, and milk. From the warmth of the kitchen. I am from flowers and the trees. From trips and being tall. From Kawana and Alfonso, the Gambles and the Gatsons. I am from yelling and love. From stop, don't do that, sit down. I am from gospel music at 6 a.m. From South Carolina and mac and cheese. I am from the uncle who puts the puppy in the refrigerator, the aunt who plays hard with the boys, the cousin who eats a 5-pound bag of Sour Patches in one day. I am from North Carolina, where we reconnect from past stories, even when little arguments emerge.
I am from the explosion of the Big Bang, where the stars are my family and the planets are my friends. I was born 17 years ago in a big hospital. All I know is my mom was out shopping for groceries and bam, it all started. I was given the name Jate Via, so don't call me Jativia or Jatwia. I am from Richmond, VA, where the best are made and the rhythm of life will soon be played.
Ooh. I'm in the slums right now, but soon check out what I'm doing. Y'all can't comprehend the intensity of the storm that's brewing. I'm like a narcoleptic. My dreams I'm pursuing. 5'10", but nobody can see what I'm doing. Tiptoeing the corporate ladder, I can't stop. Looking down at my failures from the tippy top. I look like a bear, but I'm a gumdrop. I'm a bee attracted to success like it was soda pop.
My heritage is as unknown as to why Jar Jar Binks exists. I'm 66 inches of playing video games until 3 a.m. My color is caramel. My spirit animal is the Egyptian plover. You know, the bird on the alligator that sits between its teeth and eats the meat from its teeth? I walk casually with a sense of being in a rush.
I am Russian, white like a Russian winter. I take my time. I smell the flowers. I drink the wild air. I'm an explorer, never afraid to take the first step.
I walk with confidence, and then I trip. I'm 61 inches of insanity. My friends call me a caffeinated squirrel because I'm hyper. The aura I give off is unexplainable. My face is a ton of tiny mountains. I'm as white as whipped cream. I shouldn't be this pale.
I am 65 inches, the color of dulce de leche. I am like orange in the sunrise, getting up day after day. I am a turtle. I am the branches of a tree growing outwards towards the sun, trying to explore the world.
I don't tell people that I don't know everything about where I'm from. It's easier to claim my adoptive father's heritage. It's easier to say I'm Italian. Yes, I speak it. No, I'm not fluent. Yes, I eat pasta. No, not for every meal. My mom saves me from that. My arms aren't tan, but compared to my stomach, they're near bronze. At the beginning of summer, I will tell people that my thighs will blind them, and towards the end, I compare myself to a lobster. If I were an animal, I'd be an owl for sure. There's no metaphor there. I just really like owls. I think it'd be cool to be a storm, like the kind that comes after a long, hot, dry day, because it's the only time people would welcome me. I walk with empty pockets and only good intentions in my hands, and I don't get tired of carrying them because they don't get heavy. Also, sometimes I walk into other people.
I am 73 inches of joy, excitement, and compassion. I walk with confidence and occasionally duck out of the way to not hit my head on things. I hope to have a picture of myself somewhere someday because I am crazy over photography. As the sun rises, I am picturing myself soaring through the sky, bathed in the bright orange light. I would definitely be a powerful bird of prey, able to speed through the sky and gaze down on the land below.
I am 64 inches of a good night's rest. I watch the tide roll in with a breath and slide out with a breath, my lungs keeping time with the waves. I find myself in the trees, among the bees.
I am 5 foot 1 inch mocha. I walk alongside the trees, for in the winter, I am bare. I walk and I am empty. In the springtime, I grow and nourish. I become replenished. In the summer, I thrive. I am in my prime. But once the fall comes, I prepare for the slouch. I prepare to love myself. When I'm not a tree, my heritage is unknown, yet it is written to those before me.
On the road, Sage met a cloaked woman in the shadows named Pearl.
Sage told her the riddle in sign language and asked for clues to solve it.
Pearl signed back in order to learn a language. You must go to the center of the earth.
There were many tests along the road.
They included the many shadows of people who stared silently as Sage passed by.
She felt she was being followed. When she turned around, she met a wise man, the only human who could still talk.
The wise man gave her what she needed to do
You must find where we had Longberry.
and gave her an exact coordinate on where to go on the Earth's map.
He told her,
You can only go back to go forward and vice versa.
so he taught her how to skip time. A story I was told as a child.
Okay. So, my uncle had a fear of leprechauns. And I found it funny until one day he told me a scary story about St. Patrick's Day. That the evil little leprechauns come out. And if you don't have on green, they pinch you all day. And if you don't have their gold, then they listen to this. If you don't got their gold, they will hide under your bed and grab your feet. So every St. Patrick's Day, I looked like a tree. I was stuck in bed and just, I ain't moving.
When I was 5 or 6, I called the police by accident. My father told me I was going to jail, so I hid under the table.
A story I was told as a child was when my dad had a crush on a white girl. They went a whole month looking at each other and blushing until there was a talent show. My dad performed and she fell in love.
A story I wish I was told is what inspirational things my ancestors did during their lifetime.
I was told my mom died and I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. That's the half-truth. The truth is I am adopted. My adopted mom died when I was 4. I discovered the truth at age 15. I have 4 brothers, 1 being my guardian. My sister is anonymous. She has a different parent. What about my dad? Don't have one other than God.
When I was little, my big sister told me that if you lay on your back at night, a witch would come from the corner of the ceiling and lay on you for hours. So now, at 15, I am afraid of the dark and sleep on my left side.
I remember my mother telling me I cried from Philadelphia all the way to Richmond for my blanket. She told me I was attached to it. I would always receive something and be attached to it, like a pacifier or a toy. She said she didn't leave it on purpose, but she said she was glad she did, because I needed to let it go.
A story my mom told me when I was little is that there used to be monsters up under my bed. It was an octopus with 8 eyes. I used to be scared every night and run into her room. Then, when I got older, she had finally told me that the monster was fake and she's been lying the whole time.
When I was younger, my mom and dad used to read me a lot of No David books because I was bad.
The first story I was told when I was younger was that there were scary monsters in the dark. And to this day, I'm still scared of the dark.
This story is about Dr. Seuss never want to try green eggs and ham, but when he does, he loves them.
Would you? With a goat?
Nah.
Could you? In a boat?
Sure.
I was told the story of the entire Bible multiple times over from my school. And since it was the one I heard the most, it was really the only one I ever heard.
When I was a child, I often had the urge to play with darts. This urge was always accompanied by an often heard, although rarely listened to, story of my dad's childhood. When my father was young, he had felt that same urge to play darts. Like son, like father, his urge was never satisfied because of his parents' wisdom. One snowy Iowa day, my dad and my Uncle Brian were holed up home alone in their house. Being the older sibling, it was my uncle's duty to protect my dad. But no one in the house obeyed the rules. The dart game had begun. Uncle Brian got the proper hold on the dart and threw it perfectly, flying through the air right into my dad's leg.
When I was a child, I was told that there was an old man who knew everything about you. He dressed in red and broke into your house through a chimney to give you presents that you coincidentally told your parents that you wanted. The creepy old man then climbed back up the chimney after eating food that you gave him to go fly off to other kids' houses.
One time, my grandfather and cousins, we were all going out to eat. While we had always taken the grandchildren, we left too. While he drove us to Connecticut, he said, "If you don't go, you don't get."
I would hear this story a lot when I was younger. I was called Wild Thing, which went perfectly hand in hand with the story my dad would tell me at bedtime. I would hear, "Wild Thing, come to bed." And that's when I knew it was story time. I would be transported to an entire other world where I would be sailing in a white sailboat just my size across a vast ocean. And in another blink, I would be with the wild things on their overgrown island, fearlessly leading them through all their quarrels as king of the wild things.
All right, so my great uncle, Grunker Herman, told me the story of how he once saw a centaur. He told me that he had gotten lost in the woods, a trick-or-treating night gone awry. As he was making his way through the night-shaded trees, he heard a galloping noise approaching from behind. He was suddenly knocked down and could only see the body of the beast as it galloped away. I believed him for an entire year, until my grandmother, his sister, told us that it was a flat-out lie. Apparently, they went to the grandparents' house every holiday, and Halloween wasn't allowed because it supported demonism.
When I was a child, one of my friend's dads was a writing professor at VCU. He was a brilliant storyteller. He devised a complex, wonderful story starring my friend, his daughter, and I, Crime Buster and Buster Crime. We lived in a tree house with a roof that opened like the sunroof of a car. This tree house was home to all the children in the neighborhood, and it was our hideout. I had a pouch of magical, enchanted jelly beans, and if I wanted to fly, I would eat one of that variety. We fought crime all day. Our adversaries included a pair of teenage boys with spray cans, vandals. It was a really lovely story.
When I was a kid, I used to hear the story of the man in the market square selling rice cakes. All day, people would come up to him trying to get as many rice cakes as possible for as cheap as possible. But one day, one boy came up to him and only wanted one rice cake for a regular price. As it turned out, the man selling the cakes was rich and offered to share his wealth with the boy. The story told me to reject selfishness, and even though it's been hard sometimes, the story's always with me.
A story I wish I were told.
A story I wish I was told was how to spend my money wisely. Whenever I get money, I automatically spend it on food. Food makes the world go round. I mean, who doesn't like food? Because I sure do. When I wake up, the first thing I think about is food. So if I don't get it, I just might cry.
I wish I were told more about my race. I feel that I'm more than African American.
I wish I were told the story of the female body and the amazing things it can do.
A story I wish I were told was the meaning behind sexuality. Like I didn't know what certain things meant until I looked it up on the internet.
I wish my parents had told me more about my background, such as who is my grandpa, and also about me having powers as a kid.
I wish I were told about love. I wish I was just informed about it, so I could kind of have my guard up instead of being so open to people.
I wish my mom told me that Santa was fake.
I wish my mom told me I had a dad. I wish I had a dad.
I wish I were told that school was only going to get harder.
I wish I were told that Santa Claus wasn't real. Just kidding.
I wish I were told about having a choice of ideologies regarding religion.
One thing I wish I were told as a child is how to properly punish oneself. I know that sounds a bit weird and Dobby-esque, but trust me, it was needed. When I was about 5, I had started to learn a few potty words. During the time of the event, I had just been imprisoned in my bedroom for saying one of those words. I had been punished for saying those words many times. Most of the time, my mouth was washed with soap. I saw the hand sanitizer sitting on my toy box, and in my head it made sense. If I washed my own mouth, then I wouldn't have to be stuck in my room. I didn't realize that hand sanitizer wasn't appropriate for the task until I was getting my stomach pumped.
I wish I were told that we were moving before or after spring break. Worst spring break ever. I was jumping on a trampoline, and my dad told me that we were moving to Virginia.
I wish my mom could have told me more about how economics work, because I'm broke. Some semblance of diversifying my investment portfolio or how savings accounts work. Something.
I wish someone had told me to take my time growing up and not rush anything. Savor the time I had being younger and living carefree, with the occasional upset being what game to play next or who had the better imagination.
I wish I were told Santa wasn't real. I was about 11 and I refused to believe it, but I saw my mom buying presents for me and I was super sad when I found out.
I wish someone told me of a tale of realistic adult happiness. I spent my entire childhood thinking I could be anything I wanted. Does life really work like that?
Sage went back in time and found the point before humans were lost forever in their technology.
She skipped forward in time and found the hidden tools of communication: eyes, lips, heart, and mind.
She gathered the treasures and skipped forward in time again to find the people in the shadows and return their lost parts.
From that day forward, people came out of the dark to look and listen and speak to each other once more.
They learned to take the lessons from the past
and bring them into the present. The end.
Oh, wait, hang on, one
What is a conflict that needs to be addressed?
A problem in our community is trauma and homelessness. A possible solution is that we could organize groups to help people with their trauma, because sometimes they just need someone to talk to. As for the homelessness, we can help them by taking them to a shelter or just giving them a few dollars, because every little thing matters.
A conflict that we need to address is the funding of urban area schools in our areas. They get materials handed down from other schools, and I know it's depriving the students of their proper education.
A time when I faced a setback or failure was last month. I worked at Little Caesars. My grades dropped in all my classes. I felt disappointed. I didn't have time to do homework because I worked all the time. This affected me because my GPA will be dropped and I will no longer be on honor roll. I felt defeated and I didn't want to go to school anymore. I didn't care about getting in trouble for skipping class. I just wanted to go home. I had received a complaint at work, so I felt like I couldn't do anything right. I thought I had to quit my job. I talked to a couple people, and my options were either to quit my job or only work on weekends. What I'm learning is that I have to learn how to manage my time and focus on school. Although I like making money, school comes first. I have to plan ahead of time and go by a schedule so I can get whatever it is done. I'm also learning to act based on knowledge instead of my feelings. I treated people terribly that day, and that's not me, so I apologize, meaning it won't happen again.
A talent that no one really knows that I have is drawing. It's what I do when I want to express feelings or just get frustration out. I've been drawing since I was young. When people see my drawings, they don't really think that I drew them, but I did. I am improving on my drawing skills, and I hope that I get better.
When I was at least 13, I questioned my belief in God. I was so interested in science that I didn't know whether to believe in natural phenomenon or if there were a higher force that created everything. I only wanted to believe what could be explained. I didn't want to stop believing that God was real because I also think some things are unexplainable. I have chosen to believe in science and Christianity because they both make sense to me.
Recently, I've been thinking about the way life is. Why is life the way it is? Why can't we like who we want to like? Why can't we be with who we want to be with? Why can't we go where we want to go? Why can't we be who we want to be? I ask myself this question just about every day. It's nerve-wracking. It gives me a headache going into school, but I still got to get my work done, so push them to the side. But over a certain amount of time, I found the answer. And it was as simple as you can only do these things from the comfort of your own home, from the safety and the comfort of your home. The reason why is because when you step out your front door, the safety of your home, this world, this life becomes a fishbowl.
Another conflict that I'm talking about is violence. A way to stop that is community centers to help solve violence in our communities, like workshops and resolution programs.
I've always had a thing for music, but specifically, I love singing. One of my favorite things to do as a child was to watch every talent show with my grandma. I always took the judges' criticism and applied it to myself, and one day I hope I'll appear on one of those shows.
I read a stat on the internet regarding the income of the world's billionaires and how all the money they made in 2017 would be able to end severe poverty and world hunger 7 times over. If they just pitched in and sent supplies to struggling countries, they could make third world countries a steady place and lessen the world's problems as a whole.
Wakanda.
Today I'm here at George Bush High School, which happens to be my alma mater. I graduated from here, so it was important that I come back and participate with the Cadence program. And I wish I would have had a program like that, or someone that would have come and speak to me about communication and writing college essays and what to expect when I was applying for college when I was graduating as a senior for George Bush.
This is the second time I've done this, and both times the experiences have been great. The chance to talk to these kids, and it's just so apparent how passionate and invested they are in this process and the program.
Stage Right program is an excellent program that helps students prepare for the obstacles of real life situations.
You have to be able to tell your story at any given time, no matter who you're speaking with, whether it be, for a job interview or it can be a college interview. So the fact that they have this experience now and they have this under their belt to get this foundational experience is amazing. It's just something that I wish that all kids could experience.
Capital One does tons of volunteer events, and as far as their slogan to change banking for good, that's definitely something that's on their forefront, is to be engaged with the community.
The company itself is built by the community. Without the company would not exist. As the community contributes to the growth of Capital One, it is only right and fair for Capital One to look back at its major constituents.
I
think this work that you're doing is really one of a kind, and all of you have your stories to share. So to the extent I can give you any advice, it's to keep doing what you're doing, because it's awesome.
Keep discovering, keep pushing your boundaries, keep seeking opportunity to adapt based on difficulties and adversities that you encounter.
I'm proud to work for a company like Capital One, who works with different organizations such as Stage Right to make sure that our youth are prepared for the future, since they are our future.
As a child, I was never really interested in politics. I tried to focus on more important things, like reading all of the Diary from Whippy Kid books in 2 hours, or filling an aquarium with Jell-O. Unfortunately, the sharp-heated claws of the political climate grabbed me by the legs and pulled me into the eye of the storm. It had begun in my 8th grade civics class. My teacher had given us a worksheet that would calculate our political affiliation. The majority of my answers were either centrist or right-leaning. While sharing my results, I was bombarded with a fury of questions and arguments about race issues and taxes. At the time, I was oblivious as to why there was such a staggering divide between the parties. After months of research and losing the respects of others, I had finally realized the answer. Each side has a different worldview.
Equality. I grew up knowing and still am being taught that everyone has been created and should be treated equal. I've strived the 15 years I've been alive to stick to this mindset and introduce others to it. The idea that some are above others is silly and should be discarded, thrown aside. It is unfair that I would be treated any different than anyone else. If only people could open their eyes and gaze upon the world as I do, and see that no matter your background, morals, or ideas, we should all be treated equally.
The LGBTQ community rejoiced and put their differences aside from 2009 until last year during one whole month. Former President Barack Obama had made June the official month for Pride. He said he dedicated June to, and I quote, "to eliminate prejudice everywhere it exists and to celebrate the great diversity of the American people." Yet the Trump era quickly abolished that. Now, members of the LGBTQ here in Richmond, Virginia, including myself, must wait until late September just to express ourselves freely with no judgment. I don't think that's quite fair.
Have you ever wanted to be someone other than yourself? I have the ability to change who I am at the drop of a hat. I have been all things, from a cloud to a lion. How did I unlock such a power? Through acting. When I was 6 years old, my life was bland at best. I occupied my time with normal kindergarten stuff. I was smart, but nothing special. Then came January, and with it, auditions for my elementary school's spring musical, Aladdin Jr. I was exponentially lucky to snag a role as a cloud, and my life was forever changed. Since that day, I've been in more theatrical productions than I can count, and I love acting with all my heart. One reason why I love doing theater is it's the escape of it all. Not only do I escape everyday life, but I escape being Darren as a whole. Exploring someone's mind by actually being another person is a mind-blowing experience.
One thing that I find so engaging that it makes me lose all track of time is writing. I write all sorts of stuff. Speeches, books, scripts. When I write, the characters come to life. I imagine what they look like and what they sound like. Ironically, essays come so slowly, just like this one. If I want to learn more, I just read books and scripts. I own scripts of movies such as Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Stranger Things. I look over them carefully, noticing every detail. I also look online for help when I'm writing. I find names and settings on the internet, and I've gotten so many ideas just by looking at pictures.
Every eye follows me around like a little child. My disguise, yeah, I'm smiling now. You can't see me down. My mother hugs me with the love that's visible to see. My father left me. He runs when he hears about me. I gotta think, if I stand still, will I always be me? I gotta think, if I move around, will I always be free? I'm sorry, but I gotta ask, what do you think?
I have liked to sing since I was a fetus. When I was about 7,
I was grateful enough to do a class with Spark, even though it was filled with 12-year-olds. And I was hooked on acting. I've been acting ever since and taken many more classes, and I've been grateful to do some work. But I couldn't have done it without my mom supporting me every step of the way. And I will always love all forms of acting, music, arts, and I hope, even if my career ends tomorrow, the arts will always be a huge part of my life.
I am a procrastinator. How can I fix that? I have no idea. Maybe I could start doing things ahead of time, or get a calendar out, or fudge the deadline. Like a few months ago, Miss Hamilton gave us a 2-page essay. She gave it to us January 2nd, and it was due January 30th. I did it the day before.
The school lunches are bad. The food is cold, tastes bad, and it's unhealthy. I could write a letter to the school board and post pictures of the food on social media.
My problem is that the school administrators be hating on me. They always find a way to put me out of school when nothing is ever my fault.
A problem that I usually face is that my ankle socks always fall down. A solution would be to buy longer socks.
I had a friend who made me realize, who sparked a period of personal growth and new understanding of myself and her. I was too loyal and caring, and she knew that and used me. I was giving way more than I was receiving when I really didn't have to.
A problem I have is sleep. I have too much to do with basketball and homework. Perhaps I can do my schoolwork during breaks so that when I come home, I can just take a shower and go to bed.
My future self would tell my younger self to not stress out over little things, because when you're older, you're gonna have to pay a lot of bills. So calm down.
Friends come and go, but family is here to stay.
Don't give up on your music and just keep at it.
And respect is something we should see more often, and we should also try to pursue it.
Don't depend on nobody. Just depend on yourself. Don't let anybody get anything for you, because they're just gonna ask for stuff in return. Like, just keep grinding, keep hustling, stay focused.
If my future self could tell my current self something, it'd be to not dwell in the past and stick up for others.
To try harder than you maybe think is necessary.
To not hurt yourself in every activity you try to have fun in.
Go for the cattle ranch. It pays off in the end.
When you're a freshman in college, you'll never get your deposit back because you scratched the walls with your scooter.
Better to say oops than what if.
My future self would tell my current self to do your biology homework. Seriously, you need to do it.
Even though things are going to work out, you can't just wait for them to. You have to do your part. Also, get more sleep.
If I was 100 years old, I would go back and tell myself maybe school paid off. Stop being so nice to people, focus on yourself, and go with your gut.
Be your own man. Never let someone's opinion become reality.
Never give up.
Don't depend on nobody but yourself.
Live life to the fullest and focus on the positive.
Don't be naive, because people will take advantage of you. Stay strong.
You don't need anybody but yourself. These girls ain't 100, and these boys are bad for your health. Focus.
I would tell my younger self to don't be afraid to reach for more opportunities and to be more outgoing.
I would tell myself to always listen to my heart and be who I'm supposed to be.
Don't let nobody stand in your way. Do what you want, and just be you.
To express myself more and be more open and try to control my emotions.
Past self, everything gonna be all right. Future self, don't do something stupid.
Your scars tell a story of when life tried to break you but failed. So no matter what happens, stay true to yourself, believe in yourself, and you can achieve anything.
What do I remember from my elders?
Something I hear my elders say is, back in my day, we didn't have phones. We just went outside and played. I didn't think that phones was messing up our generation, but now I do, because we are attached to them. Most kids don't know what they are missing out on outside because the phones corrupt our minds, making us believe that social media is more important than getting fresh air. Don't get me wrong, though. Phones help us interact with people across the world.
Elders say, always respect your elders. Chew with your mouth closed. Sometimes they saying these things, they get very annoying, but they say them for a reason.
What do I remember from my elders? They always say, you're too young to do this, and you're too old to still be doing that. And they always say, stay in a child's place. So I couldn't wait to get older, and so I thought about it. I'll always be a kid to them.
Something that elders say all the time is, you'll understand when you're older. I think that when there's a miscommunication between a younger person and an older person, that the older person isn't doing a good job explaining things, so they tell the younger person that the experience for themselves. It may be hard for me to understand some things, but if you thought I was uneducated, wouldn't you want to teach me?
Ooh, I like that. I really do. That's to all y'all out there, I'm just saying. I wish I knew more about my ancestors. I want to know from way back when, where they're from, what I could be mixed with. I want to know their names.
The only thing I remember from my grandpa was he got life in prison for killing 2 undercover cops.
Growing up, my mom would always tell me that I would make it to the NBA.
My eyes are bigger than my stomach.
My auntie told me my nickname was Bean. Bean was from a movie. People were scared of him.
One time, I asked my teacher if he could give me $100. With his thick Southern accent, he looked at me and said, I could if I would, but I can't, so I ain't.
This is something that someone very important told me a long time ago. There are 3 things in this world that are important in life: money, time, and the people you love. Always try to protect your money, but never mourn the loss of it. You can always make more. Never try to protect your time, or else you end up wasting it all. But always mourn over the loss of time, because you can never get it back. Always protect and mourn over the people you love. Otherwise, you would have wasted time on something you can't get back.
My mom, through the story of the 5 brothers, taught me that sticking together and working together makes things a lot easier. And my dad told me that if growing up meant losing my imagination, don't grow up.
My dad says really impactful things all the time. It's like he has an endless supply of inspirational Bob Dylan lyrics forever ingrained in his brain. He told me once, when we were discussing wealth, live simply so that others may simply live.
What I am about to say are 3 quotes from 3 people that I care deeply about. My mother told me that closed mouths don't get fed and closed hands do not receive bread. My grandfather told me that the louder the bark, the smaller the dog. My grandmother always preaches to me every day to think outside of the box, or else you'll be stuck forever.
Once upon a time, A traveler wearied from a long journey lay down, overcome with fatigue, on the very brink of a deep well. Just as he was about to fall into the water, Dame Fortune, it is said, appeared to him and waking him from his slumber, thus addressed him. Good sir, pray wake up, for if you fall into the well, the blame will be thrown on me, and I shall get an ill name from among mortals, for I find that men are sure to impute their calamities to me. However, much by their own folly, they have really brought them on themselves. So, the traveler realized everyone is the master of their own fate.
The end.
We have awesome bacon treats and things outside, but we wanted to just give maybe 5 or 10 minutes to.
Thank you. Have the opportunity for you guys to maybe ask the students some questions. Yeah? So the teaching artist, she's like ready for bacon. Ashley's like, I gotta go, man. But about 5 minutes if we have any questions. Yeah?
Yes? No, I got it. What? Anyone? Questions? Oh, here.
I don't really have a question. I just want to commend all the students for such their storytelling. You know, it was so interesting and knowing and learning each of you. And just keep up the good work. Storytelling is going to be around forever. Good job.
And you guys can say stuff too about the experience, how you felt. What was it like to have an audience? It was wild. It was scary, it was wild. Go polite.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. I was kind of tired after eating all that food. I ate a whole box of pizza, so I kind of wasn't feeling it.
When the day started, I wasn't ready. I really was panicking, but when I got here and we practiced, it was all good.
I was actually really nervous because this was the first time I was reading those lines because they're not mine. So.
Good job.
Okay, so this won't I'm not used to it. I was kind of shy a little bit because as y'all can see on the little thingy, I'm really a loud ghetto person. It wasn't me to just stand here and just talk and just be nice. It's not. But it was nice. It was okay. I liked it a little bit.
I have to admit, I was nervous at first, but then when I looked around and saw the friendly smiles on other parents' faces and all the other kids that I've done this with, it just made me feel so much better.
This isn't about the play, but my birthday's in 12 days. So I just start to let everybody know that Taurus season. Woo, 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 woo.
Hello, I am the parent of the loud ghetto child that's over there. And I just want to say, this is very impressive. She is absolutely right when she says she don't talk in front of anybody and she's shy. So this is a side of her that I have never seen before, and I do appreciate it.
This is the Huguenot teacher. I'm Miss Hamilton. I teach over at Huguenot. I just want to say it's just wonderful to have the Stage Right program to come in. It's even more wonderful to have the corporate sponsors come in and the students get to meet them and they get to work with them. And they even came into the rehearsal process and told them, you know, how they should act and so forth. But if you could have seen them from where they began to where they are now, you would be in tears. So I am very blessed to have Stage Right be a part of our school program. I'm so proud of all the teachers that came in. They look for you guys when you come in, and they know you by name, and they love you. We love you, and thank you for this experience.
I just wanted to comment on the power of words. And, you know, I'm one of the parents. I'm also a teacher, so some of my students are here. Proud of everyone's ability to speak out and to share, and that we should all be careful because everyone is listening at all the times. Some of my own words were on the stage tonight, and so we have to be careful, but also deliberate.
All right. Well, thank you all. So, Carrie, one more. We've got another teacher.
Yeah, it's my first year at Open High School. It's a school that doesn't have a theater program at all, so I was so grateful when Lane called me to replace another school, and I am incredibly proud of these guys.
All right. So am I. You guys are amazing. Amazing. Another round for our students. All right. We have some wonderful food outside. So thank you again for coming. Please consider donating. There are some things out there that you can fill out in envelopes. Thank you all so much. Good night.